In a world once ruled by swords and shields, the emergence of firearms changed everything. What sparked this revolutionary shift from hand-to-hand combat to the invention of guns? Imagine the chaos and wonder of early gunpowder weapons, creating a whole new way of waging war. This video will dive into the fascinating evolution of firearms, from their humble beginnings to the modern guns that shape the world today. Ready for the ride? Let's begin. The origins of firearms can be traced back to an accidental discovery in China during the 9th century. Alchemists, in their pursuit of the elusive elixir of life, unintentionally created gunpowder, which would go on to revolutionize warfare. Initially used in fireworks and military explosives, this newfound substance soon became a key component in weaponry. By the 10th century, the Chinese engineered the first firearms, early prototypes known as fire lances. These primitive guns were essentially bamboo tubes packed with gunpowder and projectiles. When ignited, the gunpowder would propel the projectiles forward, creating a blast of fire. Though rudimentary, these fire lances marked the birth of firearms as we know them today. The fire lance was not just a weapon, it was a symbol of the potential of gunpowder, laying the groundwork for the firearms of the future. And despite its simplicity, it was a significant technological leap from traditional melee combat. And while we don't know the exact names of the inventors, the creation of the fire lance was a result of collective efforts by Chinese alchemists and military engineers. This marked the beginning of a long journey that would ultimately change the course of history, setting the stage for the development of more advanced firearms.
The development of firearms over the centuries is a fascinating story of innovation, adaptation, and breakthroughs. From the first fire lances to modern-day assault rifles, the evolution of firearms has shaped the course of warfare and revolutionized how we think about power and security. The earliest known firearms were the fire lances developed by Chinese engineers during the 10th century. These were simple devices, often made from bamboo or metal, designed to launch a projectile using the explosive force of gunpowder. Although the fire lance wasn't a gun in the way we think of today, it was a crucial first step. The fire lance combined the power of gunpowder with a launching mechanism, setting the foundation for what would come. However, the fire lance was still limited in range and accuracy, so its use remained relatively confined to close combat situations. By the 13th century, gunpowder weapons had spread across Asia, and the first true guns began to appear. These hand cannons were more advanced than the fire lance, using metal barrels to contain the explosive force of gunpowder and projectiles. The earliest recorded hand cannons date back to 1280 CE, appearing in China, but they quickly spread to the Middle East and Europe as well. These hand cannons were much more effective than earlier fire lances, offering greater range and destructive power. However, they were still primitive by modern standards, lacking reliable ignition systems and being cumbersome to reload. The 15th century saw some of the most significant innovations in firearm development. It was during this period that the matchlock mechanism was introduced, a key technological advancement in the history of firearms. The matchlock mechanism was essentially a slow-burning fuse that was used to ignite the gunpowder in the barrel. This system made it much easier for soldiers to fire their weapons, as they no longer needed to use a flame or external spark to ignite the gunpowder. The matchlock was widely used in Europe during the 15th and 16th centuries, particularly in muskets and rifles, and it became the standard firearm ignition system for nearly 2 centuries.
Despite its widespread use, the matchlock mechanism was far from perfect. The fuse was often affected by wind or rain, and the gunpowder could be dampened, making it unreliable. As a result, the next major step in firearm development came in the early 16th century with the invention of the wheel lock mechanism. The wheel lock featured a spring-loaded mechanism that sparked when a piece of flint struck steel, creating a much more reliable ignition system. This was a revolutionary improvement, making firearms much more dependable in all weather conditions. As we moved into the 17th century, another important innovation emerged: the flintlock mechanism. This system, which became the standard for firearms until the 19th century, featured a piece of flint that struck a steel plate when the trigger was pulled. The spark created by the flint ignited the gunpowder, firing the weapon. The flintlock was used in muskets, pistols, and rifles, and it remained the dominant ignition system for firearms throughout the 17th and 18th centuries. The 19th century marked a new era in firearm development. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution, firearm production became more efficient, and a series of key advancements laid the foundation for modern firearms. One of the most important developments during this time was the invention of the revolver by Samuel Colt in the 1830s. The revolver allowed multiple rounds to be fired without reloading, an incredible leap forward in both convenience and firepower. Around the same time, rifling technology also advanced, improving the accuracy of firearms and making them more effective in combat. The combination of revolvers and rifled barrels revolutionized personal and military weaponry. Another major advancement came with the development of breech-loading firearms, which allowed soldiers to load ammunition from the rear of the gun, significantly speeding up the process. Breech-loading guns replaced the older muzzle-loading firearms, which had to be loaded from the front, making them slower and less practical in battle. These innovations paved the way for more efficient, reliable firearms. By the late 19th and early 20th centuries, semi-automatic and automatic firearms were developed, changing the nature of combat forever. The introduction of semi-automatic weapons like the M1911 pistol in the early 1900s allowed for faster firing without the need to manually cock the weapon after each shot. The development of automatic firearms such as the machine gun drastically increased firepower, making warfare more intense and dangerous than ever before. Throughout the 20th century, firearms continued to evolve, with improvement in materials, design, and functionality. The rise of the military-industrial complex during both World Wars led to rapid innovation, producing some of the most iconic firearms in history, such as the M1 Garand and the AK-47. These weapons were used by soldiers in large numbers, and their design and reliability became benchmarks for future firearms. Today, firearms have continued to evolve with advancements in technology, including smart guns that use biometric security to prevent unauthorized use, as well as lighter, more durable materials such as polymers and composites. Modern firearms have also been designed to be more ergonomic, allowing for better control and accuracy. The ongoing development of firearm technologies promises to bring even more changes to the way firearms are used in both military and civilian applications. From the humble fire lance to the high-tech firearms of today, the evolution of guns is a testament to human ingenuity and the desire for better tools of defense and offense. Each milestone in firearm development has been a response to the changing needs of society, driven by innovation and the constant pursuit of power and control. As we look to the future, it is clear that the story of firearms is far from over, with new technologies constantly reshaping the way we think about weapons.
The history of firearms is not just a story of steady progress, but also one marked by surprising elements and unexpected turning points. One of the most notable early challenges was the widespread skepticism and resistance firearms faced due to their initial unreliability. In the 14th and 15th centuries, many viewed gunpowder weapons as ineffective compared to traditional swords, bows, and crossbows. Early guns had poor range, accuracy, and slow reloading times, leading many to dismiss them as impractical. However, one of the most surprising turning points came with the advent of rifled barrels in the 15th century. Rifling, which involves grooves cut into the barrel to impart a spin to the projectile, drastically improved the accuracy of firearms. This breakthrough, though initially slow to gain acceptance, revolutionized the military use of guns, making them more effective in battle and paving the way for long-range firearms. Another unexpected change came during the Industrial Revolution. Mass production techniques transformed firearms manufacturing, making guns more affordable and accessible. What was once a weapon for the elite and military became available to the general public, fundamentally changing societies across the globe. The resulting surge in firearm ownership and use led to not only technological advancements, but also a shift in cultural and political dynamics worldwide. As we enter the modern era, firearms have evolved into highly sophisticated tools shaped by continuous advancements in technology. Today's firearms are lighter, more accurate, and far more reliable than their historical counterparts, with innovative features designed to enhance both performance and safety. One of the most significant recent developments in firearm technology is the rise of smart guns. These firearms incorporate biometric security systems such as fingerprint recognition, which ensures that only authorized users can operate them. This technology aims to prevent accidents, reduce gun-related crimes, and increase the safety of gun ownership. While still in its early stages, smart guns have the potential to reshape the future of firearms, particularly in terms of ownership and regulation. In addition to smart technology, modern firearms are increasingly made from lightweight, durable materials like polymers and composites. These materials offer greater resilience, making guns easier to carry and use in various environments, from military combat zones to civilian self-defense situations. Furthermore, the integration of advanced optics and targeting systems has significantly improved accuracy, allowing for precision shooting at much greater distances. Looking toward the future, we can expect even more innovation in firearm design. With the advent of artificial intelligence, we may see firearms that adapt to their environment or even interact with other technologies like drones or surveillance systems. As the role of firearms continues to evolve, the blending of technology and weaponry promises to lead to new possibilities in security and warfare. The evolution of firearms has been a remarkable journey. From the crude fire lances of ancient China to the cutting-edge, high-tech firearms we see today. But what does the future hold for these powerful tools of defense and offense? As technology advances, so too will the capabilities of firearms. We've already witnessed innovations like smart guns and advanced safety features, and the future will likely bring even more surprising developments. Will we see fully autonomous firearms capable of making real-time decisions in battle? Could firearms become entirely integrated with other technologies, such as drones or augmented reality, to enhance their effectiveness? The potential is vast, and the question remains, how will society choose to balance innovation with safety? The evolution of firearms is far from over, and it will be exciting to see where this journey takes us. The next chapter in firearm history is already being written. How will you be part of it? If the evolution of firearms has captivated you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Which era in the history of firearms impressed you the most, and what advancements would you like to see in the future? Would you like to see more in-depth exploration of any specific developments? Feel free to share this video with others who are fascinated by the technological evolution of weapons. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on the fascinating journey of innovation across different fields. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and seeing you in the next video.